Okay, I'm going to use Google Earth again to explain another famous murder that took place in Southern California, Los Angeles County, just east of Santa Monica, in a place called Brentwood. Here's Santa Monica, Brentwood is right here. And of course, that was the famous O.J. Simpson murder of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. Now, here's Brentwood. This road right here is South Bundy Drive. If you zoom in a little closer, you're going to see this condo right here. And this is two condos laying side by side. They run from the front to the back. Getting a little closer, you can see from front to back right here. And Nicole Brown Simpson's condo was the one on the north side right here, all the way down through here. This is her back garage. I'm going to go down to street level. So here we are at the street level. And this is the outside of the condo that Nicole Brown Simpson used to live in and the one that she was murdered at. Now, many people that come here think that the murder happened just behind this wall and that these are the original tiles. But that's not true. This wall was put up after a new person bought the tile because they were tired of people showing up and looking, and basically it was bringing too much attention to the area. So they put this up, making people think it was here, but in reality, in truth, the murder didn't take place over here. It happened just to the right side of this palm tree. It happened right back in here. The walkway used to be up here. And these are actually not tiles, but these were tiles put in with cement. They weren't prefabricated tiles. These were tiles that were put in, made with cement at the time that they were put in. Now, I want to show you some stuff here. You can see right here we have a water cover meter, a cover for the water meter. We have a little drain right here on the curb. We have this light post right here. We have this sidewalk being lifted by the roots of this tree here. And like I said, where it really happened was here, and I'm going to show you a picture to prove that it happened just to the right of this palm tree. As you can see here, there's the palm tree over here to the right side of the photo. Here's the walkway. This is where Nicole Brown Simpson was, and just to the right, back in here, is where Ron Goldman was. And like I showed you in the other, on Google Earth, you can see the water meter cover here. There's the drain on the curb. Here is the light post where the officer is standing. Here is the sidewalk being lifted by the roots from this tree. So you can see clearly that it was to the right of the palm tree and not to the left like a lot of people think it was. And here is another photo from the crime scene where you can see this is the area down here where Nicole Brown Simpson was, where her body was found. And straight out the walkway, there's the palm tree. And this walkway just goes to this side of the palm tree, not that side. So you can see right here, they covered it up. They changed directions of the walkway. It came out. They put a wall up over here. There's a door right here. They'll come out this door, make a right turn, and they're back on the sidewalk. I'm going to exit street view. Now, of course, go back to north. Now here we are up in the air again. This is Nicole's condo right here. Of course, we all know that Ron Goldman was also murdered with her. And what happened that night is Nicole Simpson, with about 9 family members, had dinner at a restaurant called Mezzaluna Restaurant. Now you can see her condo right here. And if you follow this road down here, South Bundy, and you head down on Gorham Street, on the corner of Gorham right here and San Vicente, this building here is where the Mezzaluna Restaurant was at that time. Right now it's called Pete's Coffee and Tea. So let's go down to street view and look at it. So this is the location, or the former location, of the Mezzaluna Restaurant. Now her family was in this restaurant. Her mother said she lost her glasses, so they called the restaurant, The restaurant looked for the glasses. They didn't find them in the restaurant, but they did find them somewhere out here in the sidewalk or the street. Apparently her mother probably dropped them while she was getting in the car or on her way to get in the car. They were found out here. Ron Goldman agreed to take them to Nicole Brown Simpson's house, but before he took them, he went home to his apartment to change his clothes. And his apartment, okay, so here we are again from the sky view. Here is the Mezzaluna restaurant, or the former location of where it was. Ron Goldman agreed to take the glasses to Nicole Simpson, but first he went home to his apartment, which was right down the street here in Gorham, and I believe it was this building right here that he had his room in. Went there, changed his clothes, and then headed back to Nicole Simpson's condo, which is down the street here and right there. And we know what happened after that. Now, there were a few things going on that night. There were some witnesses that saw some things. The first one was a guy named Robert Heidstra. The first one that I'm going to talk about was a guy named Robert Heidstra, and he lived right here in this apartment complex. And every night about 10 o'clock, he'd go out, he'd walk his two dogs. He had a small dog and an old dog. So he'd walk them out the front of his apartment right here. He'd go around the block, just like this. And that normally what he would do is he would come all the way around down South Bundy and make a left on Dorothy and head back to his apartment. But that night when he got to about right in here, and let's go to street level, he got to about this location roughly, right in here. He came around the sidewalk, got in this area, and he said he could hear a big dog barking. It was Nicole Brown Simpson's Akita out there barking, and he was worried about his own dog's safety. He was afraid that his little dog or his old dog would be injured by this bigger dog that was down the street barking, hysterically barking, he said. So he backed up and went down this alleyway here, headed down that way. So I'm going to exit the street view. And here we are again with the sky view. Here's Nicole Brown Simpson's condo right here. Here is the alleyway that Robert Heidstra walked down with his dogs. Like I said, he came around here, heard the dog, went back, went down the alleyway, and he was right about in this location, right in here, when he heard another male say, "Hey, hey, hey," and then he heard a deeper voice saying something, but he couldn't make out what the voice was saying because the dog was barking so hysterically. And then he heard what sounded like a gate clinging shut or a gate clinging. And he said he was right about in here when he heard it, and if you look, it's right across from Nicole Brown Simpson's condo. So it's very likely he may have heard the murder, but we don't know for sure. But what he did do is he continued on. After he heard the gate cling, he didn't hear anything else. He continued on, came down the alleyway, made a left turn, and went to this tree right here. So let's go back down to street view, right in front of the alley. So here we are on the street view, right in front of the alley. I'll move forward a little. You can see here is the alley that he walked down, and it was somewhere here about where this fence meets this garage that he heard what he heard. Well, he continued on. He made the left turn here, and he went down to this tree right here. He was at this tree when he let his dogs either, I think they were sniffing around or going to the bathroom. And that's about the time he heard a vehicle, what appeared to come out of the alley behind Nicole Brown Simpson's condo, out here on Dorothy, made a left, came toward him, and then made a right down South Bundy down that way. He said it was a white vehicle, like a white Bronco, like the one OJ was driving that night. Afterwards, he just continued on and went back to his apartment. So here's the tree he was at when he saw a vehicle come out of this area, make a left turn on Dorothy, and then make a right turn on South Bundy. He continued on, went back to his apartment that was right here. Around that same time, there was another guy walking his dog. His name was Stephen Schwab, and he lived here. There was an apartment complex here. As you can see, it has been torn down and they built a new one there, but the one that was there at the time, he lived in it. He came out with his dog, walked down the sidewalk here on Montana, crossed the street diagonally right here, and came over to this side of the road and walked down to Gretna Green. And when he got to Gretna Green, he made a left turn with his dog, came down here, made a right turn on Gorham, came down Gorham, made a left turn on South Amherst Avenue, took South Amherst Avenue down to Dorothy, made a left turn on Dorothy, and on the way down Dorothy, he's walking his dog, he could see the Akita standing at the corner and barking, and he was a little hesitant. He was worried at first because it was a big dog barking. He was afraid it might have hurt his dog. So when he got there, nothing happened, but he continued walking home, and the Akita followed him all the way back to his apartment, and he noticed that there was blood on his feet and blood on his legs. When he got to his apartment, he thought he didn't want to let the dog into his apartment. He was afraid that there could be problems with the Akita and his dog. So his neighbor named Sukru Bostepe decided he would hold on to the dog till morning, and then they would try to find out who the dog belonged to. So when they brought the dog into the apartment, they were trying to get the dog to sleep, but the dog was so restless, and they decided to just put a leash on him and see if the dog would lead them home. So Sukru Bostepe and his wife put a leash on Nicole Brown Simpson's Akita. The dog led them down the road, down South Bundy, took them right to Nicole Brown Simpson's condo, looked up, and Bostepe followed the direction of the dog's gaze as the dog was looking up the walkway to Nicole's condo. He walked up, he could see a woman laying there, and he could see a lot of blood, so they called 911. Now, right here is the back of Nicole's condo, so let's go down to street view. Okay, so here we are at the back of Nicole's condo. This was her garage door, this was her driveway, this was the condo she lived in. So, and this gate right here, of course that gate was not there at the time of the murders. This gate has been put in by the new owners, and this gate is about 8 feet tall, and I'm pretty sure they put it in because they probably had a lot of people showing up at this place and looking over the back and stepping onto the private property, and who knows what they were doing. So these new residents most likely want privacy, and that's why they put this big gate up. But on the other side of this gate, about 10 feet in, maybe 15 feet in, is the original gate that was there the night of the murders. Now, there were 3 paths that O.J. could have taken. The first path that he could have taken was the one that Robert Heidstra said he saw him take, where he went out this way, made a left on Dorothy, down here, and of course Robert Heidstra was up there by this big tree, and then he said, oh, that white vehicle made a right turn onto South Bundy this way. So that's one path he could have taken. Now that was one witness that thinks he saw O.J. Simpson. So another witness by the name of Jill Shively said that she saw now before I explain it, here's Nicole's condo. This was the back. Robert Heidstra said he saw the vehicle come down here this way and turn this way. Now the other witness, Jill Shively, said she saw O.J. Simpson in a white Bronco blow through the intersection right here of South Bundy and San Vicente and make a left turn and head in the direction of his house. Now in his book, the book that O.J. wrote, titled If I Did It, he said in his book that if he did it, he would have come out of the back of the condo, gone up this way down the alleyway, made a left turn on Montana Avenue, then a right turn on South Gretna Greenway. When he got to San Vicente, he said he would have turned left and taken it down to this street here, which is Bristol Avenue. He would have made a right turn on Bristol, gone all the way up through here, crossed Sunset, and made it all the way to his house at the time, which was this house, or that his house was in this section right here. He would have had to have turned left on Parkins Street, and then right on Rockingham. And let's go down to street level right here. So here we are down at street level, and this is the former location of O.J. Simpson's house right here. It used to be here. This was the original gate right here. This right here where these green trash cans are is where the Bronco, the white Bronco, was parked. It had the blood spots on it and in it. And of course at that time this driveway did not exist. It was just a wall that went through. And the second driveway he had, the one that he actually drove down after the low-speed chase when the police were all following him was actually about right in here, across the street from, say, this area, roughly back of this white car, red car in this area. So it was right about in here is where that second driveway originally was. Now, after the trial, O.J. Simpson ended up selling his house for about $4 million to an investment banker by the name of Kenneth Abdallah. Kenneth Abdallah was also the CEO of Jerry's Famous Deli. Kenneth bought it for about $4 million in 1997, and he tore down the old house, not necessarily because he wanted to, but because he said it was cheaper to tear down the old house and build a new house than it would have been to remodel the old house. And then let's go back to Skyview here. And then I'm going to turn this north. Here's the house here. And then Kenneth Abdallah ended up selling the house in, I think, December of 2005 to the president of the Universal Music Group, a guy by the name of Zachary Horowitz. So he sold it in 2005 to Zachary Horowitz for about $13 million, and I think the exact amount was $12.9 million. So this here is the former location of the O.J. Simpson house. The original gate was here. The other original gate came off of Ashford over here. And it's along this hedges, somewhere along these hedges, where they found that bloody glove, where Mark Furman jumped over the fence and walked down the side of the house and found that bloody glove in here. Now, if you can see, here's the house. I'm going to move it up into the corner here, and you're going to get an idea of how close it is. I can actually go in a little tighter. You're going to get an idea of how close it is to Nicole Brown Simpson's condo. So the house is up here in this corner where the hand is, and Nicole Brown Simpson's condo is right here. The Nicole Brown Simpson Ron Goldman murder turns out to be a very famous Southern California murder, and it's also a very unfortunate part of Southern California history.